You get that like warm, crunchy bun, and then you bite into like that like juicy lobster, and it's just like, what's better than that?
Sex.
I mean, if you could add a lobster roll into that.
I didn't say it. Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of The Fake Food Show. If you're watching this video, chances are you're in the Boston area looking for what Boston is known for or New England is known for.
So what is New England really known for?
Ben Affleck.
Decent Batman at best.
Red Sox. Sweet Caroline.
I hate that song.
Then what is it known for, Knox?
It's known for lobster rolls.
Alright, so what makes a good lobster roll?
Gotta be fresh, it's gotta be a little sweet, the meat's gotta be bouncy. You're not doing too much, you know, the lobster taste has gotta come through. Can't have all the extra accoutrements. It's usually on top split hot dog bun that has to be nicely toasted.
So basically what you're saying is quality should be really good in the lobster itself, and the add-ons, they should accompany it.
Yeah, it can't be overpowering.
And along with the bread too, some places have too much bread. The ratio of lobster to bread is off.
This is the thing, right? Going to a place in Boston, we're right by the water. We're supposed to get our own seafood mad fresh. If you live in like Wyoming or something, you know,
you can expect it.
You can expect it to not be as fresh. You know, maybe you need a little extra seasoning there. But since we're here, gotta let the lobster shine through. It's seasonal now. We're about to get the freshest lobsters in the game. The weather's getting nicer.
The weather's nice and girls are dressing less. Checking out the fellas, tell them who's best.
Can't say that.
That's Summertime by Will Smith.
Can't say that. Cancel.
We're gonna take you to the 4 best places according to our prior experiences as well as the Yelp reviews.
So we spent a lot of sleepless nights researching on the internet.
You ready? Let's go. So the first spot we got is James Hook & Co. It's been around since 1925.
It's 3 generations, still family owned.
And a lot of people say it's the best lobster roll in Boston.
They also catch everything themselves, so you know it's gonna be mad fresh.
Let's check it out.
So in your opinion, what makes a good lobster roll?
So first you gotta have fresh lobster meat. You gotta get some good grade A lobsters. We got our lobsters up in Maine, Canada. We get the best we can buy. You gotta cook it fresh, toss some light mayo, kind of toast the roll. Just keep it simple.
It's all about freshness, right?
Freshness.
For people trying a lobster roll for the first time, you recommend cold with mayo?
Yeah, classic cold and mayo toasted roll.
So what do you think you guys do special that kind of set you guys apart?
The quality of lobsters that we get nice, firm, hard shell. We're personally cooking them. We're personally hand picking, and it's going straight to customers. I mean, a lot of people these days, I know they're not hand picking their own lobster meat.
Yeah. When you see the lobster rolls at McDonald's, right? Do you like feel like there's anger like surging inside of you?
Obviously.
We got the regular. There's a larger version too. So it's just toasted on the split hot dog bun. It's overflowing with lobster right now. It's a lot of lobster.
That is thick.
Oh,
no!
Oh my God.
Rest in peace.
Where is it? Oh.
Well, if I drop any more lobster, I'm gonna myself.
How many lobster you drop? This dude keeps dropping lobsters. He's ruining the moment.
They just put too much lobster on here, bro.
Is that a bad thing?
No, but
You ruined the very intimate moment I had with the sandwich. I don't think we need to go to other places. This is the quintessential lobster roll. It's perfect. The bread doesn't overpower. The mayonnaise doesn't do it. It just adds to it. It's fresh. It's refreshing. It's a hot summer day. It's like the perfect meal to have in the summer, especially when you're in New England. I just like a hot dog bun. A toasted hot dog bun.
This one, I feel like mine burnt parts into it, but it kind of works. It's like the bitterness, the toast, and then like the sweetness of the lobster really balance each other out.
You said it was too much lobster. Were you just saying that because it was falling off?
Yeah, my hand-eye coordination is not great.
In the end, it's a good bang for your buck.
Yeah,
lobster rolls are expensive.
It's $23, and this is probably one of the most full lobster rolls I've ever gotten.
I don't know if it's premature to say because we haven't tried the other places yet, but this is the best lobster roll I've ever had.
I think this might be the best lobster roll I've ever had. The lobster's super fresh. You can really tell they're standing by the quality. They're still family run. This is 3rd generation. The owner is super chill. How he's willing to stand by that this is the best lobster roll in the city. And honestly, he has a solid argument for it. The best dishes are always the best ingredients. Like, it's simple, you know what I mean? No flair to it.
I feel like when people overcompensate and they put a bunch of other stuff like the add-ins, that's just to cover up the fact that your ingredients aren't that good.
Yeah, like the lobster, it's like it has a little bit of sweetness. It's super bouncy. Like, you can tell fresh lobster from frozen lobster.
And the
like,
fresh toasted bun.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
I can't do it.
Sheesh. Gen Z people are gonna be like, you guys. So out of 5, what would you rate?
4.5 out of 5. I don't want to say 5 just yet. No, we're just at the beginning.
This is likely to change at the end after you try the other places.
Yeah, but this is a very high starting point.
I gotta say 4.9 out of 5. Likely to change at the end because I have never had such bliss in my mouth. I would throw this against the fucking wall. I'm so happy about this. All right, next we got Pauli's in the north end.
They're actually a sub shop, so they're not really specializing in seafood, but they have a lobster roll that's super well known.
And a lot of your favorite celebrities have come here to eat.
Shout out to God, Guy Fieri.
Nikki, what makes a good lobster roll in your opinion?
I think using fresh ingredients and letting the lobster like speak for itself. I feel like a lot of people put like celery and lettuce or like tomato. They try to like throw extra stuff in there to like cover up the taste of the lobster. I think a lot of people just don't want to use as much meat, so they like to put fillers in. So when you see it, you're like, oh damn, but you're really getting like lettuce and celery.
It's more for like Instagram pictures.
Exactly. Yep.
It's okay to talk your stuff.
We don't like to brag, but we've been told.
What makes Pauli's better than the rest, the competition?
So we use fresh knuckle and claw meat, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of mayo, so you taste just lobster. And then it's on a grilled hot dog bun. You get that like warm, crunchy bun, and then you bite into like that like juicy lobster, and it's just like, what's better than that?
Sex.
I mean, you can add a lobster roll into that.
I didn't say it.
All right, next up we're at Pauli's.
Pauli's.
Pauli's is more New York.
Yeah,
Pauli's more Boston, yeah.
Pack the card and have it, yeah.
Guy Fieri was here, you know, our OG.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Ben Affleck. They have a hot one too, but we got the cold with mayo. It's toasted.
The bread is more flat. It's not as defined as James Hook.
I think it's actually toasted only on the outside, not on the inside. It also comes with chips. Traditionally, lobster rolls are served with chips.
The bread tastes better here. The lobster overall, I like James Hook more.
I think this one is not as bouncy. You bite into it and you can like feel it when it kind of like breaks up. It doesn't have like that same bounce, but it's still really fresh. You can definitely taste the freshness still. You can taste a little bit of the lemon twist that they put into it. But other than that, also very solid. For a not lobster roll specializing place, this is really good.
If you're in Boston, you have to have some type of lobster roll, right? They did also overflow it. They have a good lobster to bread ratio. How's the mayonnaise?
They're not trying to hide anything with it, you know what I mean? It really just is to highlight the flavor of the lobster. It's the same sweet, fresh lobster. I do think that at James Hook, it was a little bit more bouncy.
But it's good here too.
Yeah, it's really solid.
Definitely not overrated. Guy Fieri didn't lie. He said what? It's the most pure.
This one was honest lobster roll.
I don't know what that means.
It's not lying to you, you know? It's not texting other dudes.
Watch our Guy Fieri video if you haven't already. This is hard to open. My hands are greasy. Chanu, can you open this for me?
Put it together one. You're so... Cut the camera. You're so loud.
3,000 years later.
Try the chips with the lobster roll.
Why do you do that?
Because it
it's
adds
just a side, you know what I mean? You gotta do it together.
We're talking accoutrements. Everybody adds celery and lettuce, but they don't add some Utz chips. I prefer it without the chips. It wasn't needed. So out of 5, what would you rate Pauli's?
Solid 4.
I gotta do 4.5 for here too. The bread, I like a little bit better here. The lobster, which is supposed to be the star of the dish, I liked a little bit better at James Hook.
Honestly, they're walking distance, so like 15 minutes apart from each other. Hit both.
One's not gonna fill you up. Might as well get 2 lobster rolls. Your wallet might be a little light after it, but...
If your only experience eating lobster rolls has been from like chain restaurants or like fast food places,
bro, no one's like you and only ate lobster rolls at McDonald's.
Bro, I'm telling you, there are people that live in like, I don't know, Ohio.
All right, next we got Neptune Oyster, which is actually right next to Pauli's.
More of a sit-down vibe, you know what I mean? A little bit bougier.
And they do something different with their bread. Let's check it out. So we just went to Neptune Oysters, which was right next to Pauli's.
Pauli's. I'm walking here. Kind of a vibe though, you know what I mean? They have the outdoor seating. You get some oysters, you get some rosé, you get some nice
calamari, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, bada bing, bada boo. But it's different here because they offer more bougie lobster rolls, right?
Yeah, they have a cold lobster roll. They have a hot lobster roll with caviar butter.
Sounds amazing, but we're testing it based on the basics.
It was also $43, so this is definitely the most expensive.
This was $34.
Yeah.
We're living like Larry.
Living like Larry. It's definitely also the biggest one that we've had so far, I think.
Yeah, it's super thick. It better be freaking $34 for this. But this is thick though.
It's thick.
It's thick. It comes with fries or salad. And it's not a regular hot dog bun, it's a brioche bun.
The brioche really does make everything better.
It reminds me of a fancy tuna fish sandwich. You like the brioche more?
It doesn't have that like crunchy toast that like the other ones have.
I prefer the crunchy hot dog bread.
I think this one comes down to personal preference. Just like a little grilled on the outside and then it's really soft on the inside. And then you get to the lobster that's like chewy and stuff like that.
The lobster is actually really chewy, huh? What do you think about the lobster?
Definitely fresh. It's like bouncy, a little sweet. We got a little bit of black pepper on this, which I've noticed. I don't think I noticed that at the other ones.
I appreciate how very minimalistic, how they don't try to do too much to the lobster roll. There's not much mayonnaise, which I like. But for me, like I said, I like a thin bun. This is like too thick, kind of overpowers the lobster, you know? I taste more bread than lobster.
Some people like them thick, bro. This one will probably fill you up the most just because the bun is so thick.
It's good! Like I said, $34. You think it's worth it?
We want to splurge a little bit. Definitely the biggest one by far. Each of our halves might have been the size of the lobster rolls we've had before.
But if you see how thick the bread is, it's just like too much for the lobster. The ratio, it has to be less bread, more lobster. If I had to rate it, 3 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
So it's the same as Pauli's?
I'll say about the same as Pauli's.
Okay, you're wrong, but that's fair.
Evan doesn't even like seafood, guys.
I'm on a seafood diet. I see food and I eat it.
Guys, if you want to replace Evan E as the host of the Fake Food Show, please email us.
So we're taking a little break from our lobster roll journey to get some lobster tails.
It's like a pastry that looks like a lobster tail, basically.
According to Knock, that's a really good dessert. So we're at Bova's Bakery in the north end. Since we're in the area,
One lobster tail.
Large.
Yeah, the large.
Yeah.
And then could we get one the Florentine cannoli and one creme brulee cannoli?
Can I get a picture too?
yeah, we got you. $10. Like we said, we got some lobster tails, but it's not exactly a lobster tail. It just looks like a
It's
lobster
shaped
tail.
like a lobster tail.
So it's not going to taste like lobster. Remember?
2 kinds of cream and mascarpone.
Go on my nose. Go on your nose.
It's not like the cleanest dessert to eat, but it's bomb. It's really crispy. It's like super flaky and layered.
It reminds me of an eclair. You might want to get that off your nose, dog. That looks familiar on you, huh?
Starboy.
It wasn't the powder on your nose, it was the cream.
It's really good though, right? Really flaky and the cream is cold and sweet, really thick. Florentine cannoli, and then we got a creme brulee cannoli as well.
Oh, you taking a picture of it?
Bro, it's nice. It looks nice. We both eat it from opposite ends at the same time. Lady in the Tramp situation.
If you want.
Cannolis are kind of hard to split.
I just broke it in.
Yeah.
Oh God. It broke in my hand. Let's see if I can fit all this cream in my mouth.
Honestly, when things are really good, you kind of just don't want to talk because you're trying to savor it. These are really good.
Our last spot is outside of Boston. We're in Cambridge, Massachusetts at Alive and Kicking.
They're a little bit different. You know, we've been doing mostly lobster rolls so far, but this one's a lobster sandwich.
And sometimes less bread is more.
What does that even mean?
Because it's a sandwich, it's not a roll. It's, you know,
It's 2 pieces of bread.
All right, Adam, what in your opinion makes a good lobster sandwich or lobster roll?
You gotta make sure you use fresh lobster meat. Gotta cook it every day. Don't let it sitting around, and just use quality lobsters.
Why sandwiches as opposed to rolls?
Less bread. On the hot dog bun, it's a little too much, I think. You don't taste as much lobster. You got a little too much bread on there, so just wanted to do something different.
So what goes in an Alive and Kicking sandwich?
Mayo, salt, pepper, and butter toasted bread. No lemon. You want to taste that. You don't want to taste celery or onions. That kind of ruins it. Too overpowering for lobster.
So what makes Alive and Kicking the best?
I work here. That's why. We use just more lobster meat and like less fillers than most places. And a lot of places don't prepare their own lobster meat. They buy it from wholesalers. If we do all our own cooking, we don't have anyone else do it for us. I think that makes a big difference. To be honest, I've been here for 10 years, so I haven't got lobster anywhere else.
All right, yo, we're at Alive and Kicking, our last spot. What makes this one different, it's actually not a roll, it's a sandwich.
It's on scally bread, which is like this Italian style of bread with they coat in sesame seeds.
I don't know if it's smaller.
The shape is different, so I can't really tell either. It's definitely the cheapest one. You can also buy whole lobsters here, and so they have like the lobster still alive. That's why they call it Alive and Kicking. They still have them like tanks and stuff like that.
Super fresh. What I appreciate about this place is the lobster itself is thick. Not just what we were talking about before. It's thick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking like DMX now, you know what I mean? I'm like, no, it's good.
With this one, you get the hot dog bun. When you're eating it from the top, right, you get like straight lobster. Then you eat it from the bottom and you get straight bread, right? This one's straight uniform. You get the same amount of bread and lobster in every bite. If you like that texture contrast between like the crispiness and like the chewiness of the lobster, you get it in every single bite this time around.
You know, normally, even though I like a hot dog bun, a small sliver of the scally bread accompanies it really well because it lets the lobster do the talking.
None of these places have used any celery, any lettuce, like nothing. They're willing to let the lobster do all the work.
And we're not in Wyoming, so.
I love when you get to the crust and you get a little sesame seeds in there. I love sesame bagels, and I just love the taste of sesame and baked bread. So that with the lobster, bro, super bomb. Adds like a little bit of flavor. You like sesame bagels? Those are my favorite.
No. Do you think this is the best deal?
19, and it comes with kettle chips.
And it's easier to open out. Put some chips with the sandwich and see how it tastes.
But did it need it?
It needed it.
I don't think it needed it.
So what's your rating of Alive and Kicking?
Honestly, also a 4. It's really hard to give anything less than a 4.
Before coming in, I would have assumed Alive and Kicking would be the best. We were biased because we both have eaten here before and we actually really love this place. But I gotta go with 4 out of 5. All All right, yo, that concludes the live and kicking. Now we're gonna come together and confer and decide on our overall rankings on the best lobster places in Boston. All right? Get it? Because he's alive and he's kicking, and he's tied up. He's alive and he's tied. Okay guys, that concludes the video. I'm gonna take a break from lobster.
Honestly, I don't think I'm sick of it yet.
I sound like a pretentious asshole saying I'm sick of lobster.
Yeah. The great thing about lobster rolls is they're not that heavy, you know? Usually by the end of our food crawl videos, I like can't stand up straight on all my hands and knees. I'm trying to find the bed to lie down in. I'm feeling good right now.
I mean, as much as the people would like to see you on your hands and knees, we gotta give them the rankings.
Gotta sub the OnlyFans for that one.
All right, so our favorite is James Hook and Company.
Second, I'd probably go with Alive and Kicking, and then Pauli's, and then Neptune Oyster at the end. And Neptune Oyster is still great. It's just really pricey, but like I just think it's really bready, you know what I mean?
I would agree with the top one, James Hook. Two, I have to disagree and just go with Pauli's. I like their bread to lobster ratio. And then Alive and Kicking, which was my favorite before our test today. And last was Neptune Oyster.
Basically, we're picking between like A pluses and A's. But you know, like they all have their things that they're good for. James Hook, fire lobster roll, fresh caught, right? It's in Seaport. It's a nice location. You guys can walk around afterwards, right? Pauli's, you get it real quick.
And don't forget Pauli's, you have a lot of pictures of Guy Fieri.
If you're a Guy Fieri fan, you got to make the pilgrimage. Neptune Oyster, if you want more of a sit-down vibe, get a glass of rosé, get some oysters, and then even Alive and Kicking, if you want to get out of, you know, Boston, go to Cambridge in the quieter zone. You can do all that. I don't know where you're. Oh, Alive and Kicking.
I'm alive and kicking because I'm alive and I'm Bruce Lee.
Guys,
that
if
joint.
you want to replace Evan on the fake food show, please hit me
Do
up.
you remember Billy Blaine from Tybo? I'm dating myself. People don't know what I'm talking about.
Maybe there's a lobster roll spot we didn't hit that you know about. Let us know.
And I know people are gonna say you should have went to Maine, New England lobster, blah blah blah. That's kind of far, and you know we'll do that in the summer.
What else is there to do in Maine, bro?
I don't know, camping. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, watch our other videos and playlists up there and down there. Until next time, we out. Peace.